So we've learned how to read the portion of the Kohen Gadol, of the high priest. And actually, that's the portion that he would read on Yom Kippur. And now we're going to find out about the portion of the king. Or I guess now, today, we might say the portion of the president, because of course we don't have a king in Israel today, but we do have a president. And I think this is something that the president does do once every 7 years. And the Mishnah explains, Parshat HaMelech Ketzad. How was the portion of the king? Motzei Yom Tov Acharon Shel Chag. At the conclusion of the last day of the festival, the Chag in the language of the Mishnah is always Sukkot. So the Chag is Sukkot. Bashmini, on the eighth day. Motzei Shvi'it, on the end of the seventh. Sorry, Bashminit. I think this is the eighth year. Motzei Shvi'it, at the end of the seventh year. So in other words, 7 years have passed. We're going to have Rosh Hashanah. We're going to have Sukkot. And on the last day of Sukkot, we're going to do this, i.e. the beginning of the eighth year. Osin lo bima shel eitz ba'azara. We're going to make a wooden platform in the temple court. Vehu yoshev aleha. And he's going to sit on it. Shenemar miketz sheva shanim b'moed shnat ha-Shemitah b'chag ha-Sukkot. B'vo chol Yisrael lera'ot et pnei Adonai Elohecha b'makom asher yivchar tikra et haTorah hazot neged kol Yisrael b'oznehem. Now, this is a pasuk, right? This is a pasuk actually in Kitav, in Va'et Chana. Sorry, is it from? It's not Va'et Chana. No, it's in Kitavo. Is it? I think it's in Kitavo. Vayetzav Moshe otam leim. The Moshe is commanding he's commanding the Levim. Vayetzav Moshe otam leim, or miketz sheva shanim b'moed shnat ha-mishnah shnat ha-shemitah b'chag ha-Sukkot. So Moshe is bringing the people into the land of Israel. This is actually Nitzavim. So this is Moshe's command actually on the last day of his life. And he hands over the Torah to the people of Israel. He hands it over to the Kohanim and the Leviim. And then he tells them, you have to, this is a song which I'm teaching you, and you have to sing the song every 7 years. Every 7 years, you have to get the people together and you have to read them the Torah. Hakel et ha'am. This is the mitzvah of Hakel. You assemble the people. Ha'anashim v'hanashim v'hataf. The men and the women and the children. V'hagercha asher bisharech, and so on. Every 7 years, we read the Torah to the whole people. So the Psukim don't say, but the Mishnah interprets that it's the king that is going to read the Torah. And of course, nowadays, it's the president. So let's go back to the Mishnah now. So we're going to set up this wooden platform in the temple court. He's going to sit on it. That's really interesting. He's going to sit. Let's come back. Let's come back to that. And we're going to read. So how's it going to go? Well, actually, it's going to go very similar to the way it's not going to be very different from the high priest. So we've read this before. Chazan HaKnesset notel Sefer Torah v'nonol Rosh HaKnesset. The synagogue Chazan takes a Sefer Torah, Torah scrolls, gives it to the head of the synagogue. Actually, we've learned this Mishnah twice before. It's once in Yoma, and it's once in Sotah, the previous Mishnah. And now we're going to read it about Hakel. So he's going to take a Torah scroll, give it to the head of the synagogue. V'rosh HaKnesset nolas again, and the head of the synagogue is going to give it to the deputy high priest. V'hasegen nol Kohen Gadol, and the deputy high priest gives it to the high priest. V'Kohen Gadol nol Elimelech, and the high priest gives it to the king. Really very interesting. I don't know whether you saw the coronation ceremony for King Charles in Westminster Abbey just a couple of years ago. The king is crowned by the Archbishop of Canterbury, who's effectively the high priest in the Church of England. So in the Church of England, the high priest crowns the king. He anoints him with oil, actually. And in the time of the Mishnah, the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, hands the Sefer Torah to the king. The Kohen Gadol Elimelech, the deputy high priest to the king. Ve Hamelech omed umukabel vekorei yoshev. The king stands up and takes the Sefer Torah. So he takes it standing. This is Kavod HaTorah, I guess. But he reads it standing. Sorry, he reads it sitting. Vekorei yoshev. Very interesting. We learnt in yesterday's Mishnah that the Kohen Gadol reads it standing. And it's a halacha, actually. It's brought in the Gemara. Let me just find it for you in the Gemara. The Mishnah says, HaKoret HaMegillah Omer V'Yoshev. The reader of the Megillah can stand or sit. And the Gemara immediately comes. This is the first remark that the Gemara makes about this Mishnah. Masha'ein Kain Ba Torah. This is not the case with regard to the Torah. In other words, when we read Torah, we have to stand up. And the Gemara asks mini Hanimili, where do these words come from? And Rabbi Abahu says, and he's going to quote from Devarim, actually this is now from Et Hanan, Ve'ata bo amod imadi. God says to Moshe, stand with me. God says to Moshe, stand with me when you receive the Torah. And I guess we feel, okay, if Moshe has to stand when he's receiving the Torah, then we have to stand when we're reading the Torah. So the halacha is that we stand when we're reading from the Torah. And that's what the Kohen Gadol does. But the king seems to be different. The king is going to sit and read. Hamelech omed umukabel. He stands up to take the Sefer Torah, and then he sits and reads. Agrippas Hamelech amad vekibel vekara omed. Agrippas, the king, stood and received it, and he read it standing up. Veshibhuhu chachamim. He read it standing up, and the sages praised him. And we can see now why. Right, respect for Torah means you read it standing up. Uchshigia. Lo tuchal latet alecha, ish nochri asher lo achicha hu. When he got to the place, now we'll see in a minute that he's going to read a number of passages from Sefer Devarim. He doesn't read the whole of Sefer Devarim, but he reads a number of passages, including the passage of the laws of kings. And one of the laws of kings is he can't be a foreigner. He can't be a foreigner. Lo tuchal latet alecha ish nochri asher lo achicha hu. You can't have a place a foreigner above you who is not your brother. Zalgud ma'av. His tears ran. Amrula, they said to him, Al tira Agrippas, achinu ata. Don't fear, Agrippas. You are our brother. You are our brother. That's what they say in the taxi, actually, the taxi rank in Tel Aviv. Achi. They're saying, you're our brother, you're our brother. And then, okay, so let's see how he reads. So he reads from the beginning of the Sefer of Devarim, Eila HaDevarim. Ve'ad Shema, he reads it right up to Shema. Ushma, he's going to read the Shema. And then he's going to read V'hayayim Shamoa Tishma. In other words, he's going to read the second paragraph of the Shema. He reads Aser to Aser. That, I guess, is he's going to read Aser, and then which is also the portion in the Tefillin, I think. And then he's going to read V'tchalel Aser. When you finish tithing, that is the beginning of the blessings and the curses in the Parsha Ki Tavo. So now we've skipped right to the end of Devarim. And he's going to go on to read the blessings and the curses. Uvrachot uklalot. So he's going to read the blessings and the curses that apply to Israel if they keep or if they don't keep the mitzvot. Ad shehu gomer et kulam. And he's going to read all of them. It's a terrifying set. These are the blessings and curses in Kitavo. So it's a terrifying set of blessings and curses. And then he says brachot. Brachot shekohen gadol muvarech, heim hamelech muvarech. So then he recites the same brachot, al Torah, al avodah, and so on, as the Kohen Gadol recited. Eile shehu noten shel regalim tachat mechilat aven. He doesn't make a bracha for forgiveness of sin, because we're not reading on Yom Kippur on this day. He actually makes a bracha for the festival.